Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there was some problem, I think. I'll just open the file. Yeah. So let us start. In this chapter, we are learning the formal rules of normalization now. We have already finished informal rules. So there were 4 informal guidelines for ideal database management system. So we have seen those informal rules. So let us quickly try to brush up. So those informal guidelines, in summary, they were like this. First, informal guideline was related to semantics of the relation attributes. That means the attributes in a relation should be related to each other and they should describe only one entity purely. Second guideline was about redundancy. The guideline says that we should build the databases or the relations such that it shouldn't have redundant information because redundancy leads to anomalies such as insert, update, and delete anomalies. Third guideline was about null values. The guideline says we should have as few null values as possible. In this guideline, we also have covered the various reasons for having a null value in our relation. So for exam, or you can say for exam, the probable or expected question would be what are the reasons or what are the situations in which null values are allowed in a table. So that was about it. Then just a minute. Yes, so Sanjana, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Uh, yes. Others can see now. Sanjana, can you see the slide?
Yes, ma'am. I can see the slide. Informal design guidelines for relational databases.
Yes. So we have already finished these informal guidelines. Let's move to the normalization chapter. So before we cover normalization, here you can see in this slide, the down part, we are going to discuss about functional dependency. Yesterday we have already defined functional dependency. Now based on this knowledge or concept of functional dependency, let's move towards the normal forms. So here, in short, what are the normal forms? What we are going to cover is there are basically 12 normal forms, but in your syllabus you have only 3 normal forms and then the fourth one, which is a special normal form called as Boy's Codd normal form. So
Yes,
let
ma'am.
us see this one by one. So I'll move to that particular slide. So yesterday we were here, we defined functional dependency. We saw that a set of attribute X functionally determines the other set of attributes Y if the value of X determines a unique value for Y. So we have seen in short, always X we can consider to be a primary key which functionally determines other all attributes. So every other attribute is always functionally dependent on the primary or the key attribute of the relation. Now, mathematically, how it is shown that we have seen yesterday. We have also seen the examples. So here you can see in the slide. First example, SSN is the primary key which functionally determines ename. So in other words or in other way of reading is ename is functionally dependent on SSN. It is said so because SSN always determines unique value for ename. Similarly, we have another example here. Roll number functionally determines SName. Now the third example we have here down, that P number or the project number functionally determines project name as well as project location. This we have seen sometimes. Now the fourth example, can you see down? Here we have in a typical example here down, last one, SSN comma P number together functionally determine hours. So in case of the table called as works on, so there is a table called as works on. Works on table is nothing but it's not a master table. Works on is a uh, transaction table which gives us information about which employee works on which project and for how many hours. So in this table we have seen that SSN is not a primary key. Project number is also not a primary key. There we have a composite primary key which is formed by the combination of SSN and project number. So once we know SSN and project number, then only we will be able to tell how many hours are related. So one employee may be working on one particular project for some number of hours. So similar example we can take for our college example. So I'll just take so here I can take the example of college like this. I can just, yeah, one sec. So the same example we can take like this. There can be a faculty ID. Oh, it's difficult to draw like this. Better I'll. So I'll come to the slide like this and then I'll try to edit. Now similar example what we will see here is from our college. Suppose if we talk about the faculty. So I suppose if I take a faculty number, let's call it as FNO, and then there is a subject number called as SNO. Together will determine number of hours. So suppose if someone asks you, Vaishali madam takes how many hours for 4B? Uh, how many hours? Vaishali madam teaches how many hours? Then the question is not complete. If additionally, if it is asked that Vaishali madam for DBMS theory, how many hours she takes? So when you are told about not only the faculty name, but also you are supposed to be given the information about which subject. So this faculty here, suppose Vaishali ma'am and DBMS theory, when these two information are given, then you can tell the number of hours. If I only tell how many hours Vaishali madam takes, then the question is not complete. Or what is the workload of Vaishali madam? The question is not complete. What is the workload of Vaishali madam for DBMS 4B? Then you will be able to tell that hourly sorry, weekly 4 hours or monthly 16 hours. That is the workload. So sometimes whenever in a table you have composite primary key, then in that case we say that these two attributes together functionally determine hours. So that means hours is dependent, functionally dependent on the combination of these two attributes. So this is just an example which you should remember, because we are going to use this
Yes, ma'am.
in the next. Yeah, these are the details. Anyway, it's not required. Let's go to the, yes, normalization of relation. So first, let us define what is normalization. Remember, exam point of view, this is very important question. 2 marks, they will ask you the definition of normalization. So the definition goes like this. The process of decomposing means splitting unsatisfactory, bad relations by breaking up their attributes into smaller relations. So for this, you can
Yes.
consider that suppose there is one relation. So we have a relation like this. Suppose there is a relation. Now this is a big relation in which there are many attributes. So there could be, so I'm just drawing. So there could be so many attributes. Totally we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 attributes are there in this. Now suppose if
Yes.
this particular relation is not satisfactory, that means it doesn't follow the guidelines. It is impure. That means it has got some pollution of the other entity. It is not purely describing one particular entity. Then what we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
do, we may thought of splitting it up. So suppose if we split up like this in this particular line, if we split up, then it will form two particular tables. One is like this and one is like this. Fine. So what we have done, the original one table, one relation, we have tried to split it up into two parts. Like in our previous example, we have seen there was a bad table called as employee project. In that we had information about employees as well as about projects. So if we split it into two tables, one is employee table purely and another is project table. Then if we split
Yes,
like
ma'am.
that, then this process of splitting is called as normalization. But this splitting is not like cutting a cake or cutting a pizza. It is not that easy, because in a cake or cutting a pizza you may just cut it without bothering. I mean, just you may bother about the sizes or equal shares, but here it is not so. Here you have to check about their logical relationships between the attributes. We should also see, as yesterday we have defined spurious tuples, we should also see that in this process of decomposition we should not lose any of the information. So that with that consideration, when with the logical guidelines or with some rules, when we decompose the tables, then that particular process of decomposing called as normalization. And the result of normalization should always be proper relations which are ideal. What is your intention of normalizing? That the original table was bad, or it was not satisfactory, or it was impure. So the purpose of this decomposition or splitting up is you wanted to form pure or ideal relations. So if the purpose is served, then only we can say that it is a process of normalization. Clear? So let us learn these rules for normalization. So before going to that, let us define one more term here. There is one more term called as normal form. So normal form, what is normal form defined as? Normal form is a condition. Normal form is a condition or a situation which is formed using keys and functional dependencies. You have seen in our relational module or relational model, some of the keys you have learned, that we have learned key, then we have learned super key, then we have learned candidate key. So here we are, all those keys together, they are considered to be keys. So a situation using keys and functional dependencies of a relation to certify whether a relation schema is in a particular normal form. This is a normal form, or in other words, now this definition is not very user friendly, so let us define it in a simple term. Normal form is a phase. A normal form is a state in the process of normalization wherein a particular level is reached. For example, you have to suppose one student stays at first grade and wants to reach a college. So the first level may be reaching out to RPD cross. So when the RPD cross is considered, when he reaches RPD cross, we consider that he has successfully reached the first level of the path towards the college. So
Yes,
why
ma'am.
do we call the RPD cross is a successful? Because it is in the path and as per the
Because
rule.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Similarly, our ultimate purpose or ultimate goal is to decompose ideally. But in this decomposition, we may not uh, go to the ultimate destination suddenly. We may go to in between milestones. Like we may go to RPD Cross, then we may go to suppose GSS College, then to Gopte College. So in between, we may set small goals and we may achieve instead
Yes,
of
ma'am.
suddenly directly going to the ultimate goal. So these in between phases are considered to be the normal forms. So suddenly everything cannot be decomposed ideally. So slowly by applying one by one rule, we are going to achieve this ultimate normalization. So in between this, whenever suppose first gate or this RPD cross is achieved, or one level of normalization is achieved, that particular normalization level is called as one normal form. From that one normal form, we may lead to the second normal form. From there, again, we may go to the third normal form. So slowly, these one to two to three, all these normal forms will take us to the purer or more clearer decomposition, which is better than the previous one, always. Clear? So this is how normal
Yes, ma'am.
forms are defined. Now, how many normal forms are there for your syllabus? We have first normal form, then we have second NF. These normal forms in abbreviation they are called referred to as NF. So you are called, I mean, they are called as 1NF, 2NF, 3NF. After that, there is also 4NF, but we are not going to study that. In between, there is one more NF, which is called as BCNF, stand for Boy Scout Normal Form. So let us see. So these 2NF, 3NF, BCNF, all these are based on keys and functional dependencies. And 4NF is based on multi-value dependency that we were not going to study. So let us go to the next detail of normalization. Normalization is carried out in practice so that the resulting designs are of high quality and meet the desirable properties of a ideal relation. Clear? The practical utility of these normal forms becomes questionable when the constraints on which they are based are hard to understand or to detect. Uh, Anyways, you need not bother right now about this point. But one thing, initially you may not understand its importance, but you will realize the importance only when it causes, suppose if you don't normalize, if you may keep them abnormal, that means if you keep them non-ideal, if you keep them bad, unsatisfactory, the relations itself, then what will happen? They will result into wrong output, wrong result when the queries are derived or queries are executed on such bad relations. The database designers need not normalize to the highest possible form. Sorry, the database designers to the highest normal form. Yeah, sorry. Need not normalize to the highest. That means here what it is said is, it is as they compare biologically, our bodies cannot be free from viruses. That means there are some positive viruses or some kind of virus will be there in our body. So similarly, a table cannot be without impurity. And some kind of impurity will be there in the table. So they say that it is not that all the time you desire for the highest normal form. You may end to some normal form in between. You may get satisfied with fourth normal form or third normal form or BCNF. Nobody will try to achieve all those 12 normal forms. It may not practically be possible. Now, in contradiction to normalization, there is one, or you can say the reverse process of normalization is called as denormalization. So sometimes, rarely, this definition is asked. What is denormalization? The process of storing the join of higher normal form relations as a base relation. That means in the previous slide, I showed you the splitting of 1 into 2. Now, this denormalization is a process of combining two splitted relation or decomposed relations into one. When you combine these two together, you may get one such table, which is a combination of all this. Clear? So this process is called as denormalization. Sometimes this is done to verify whether the normalization process was proper. Anyway, it's not required for you to know. So let's go to the next point. Just not moving. Yeah. Mm. Anyway, here we have revisited the point of super key. We have already covered this in SQL chapter. What is the difference in super key and key? Super key is a group of attributes that uniquely determines a tuple, and the key is a minimal super key. Or they say that I had given you example of one particular um, table like this. Suppose there is a student table which contains roll number, name, and city. So when you have three attributes in a table, student. So how many super keys we can frame from this? Now this particular, all three attributes can be a super key. Then there could be another super key which is RNO comma name. There can be another super key which is RNO comma city. Do you agree with this? We have discussed, if you remember. Then there could be, yeah, so all these are super keys which are related to the table student. But we can't say that all these are keys. So how is key different than the super key? Super keys may be composed of multiple attributes, but key is always a minimal super key. So among all these super keys, there are four super keys here we have seen. So all these are super keys because they involve roll number which uniquely identifies each tuple. So as far as roll number is there, all these will uniquely identify each of the tuple. The moment you remove roll number from this first, so can you see this first super key which is formed by the three attributes? If you remove roll number from this, what will remain is name and city. Then this group name and city will not uh, what you can say will not remain a super key. That means name and city cannot uniquely identify each tuple. There could be, yesterday we have seen Asha, two girls in the same, they may stay in the same city. In that case, we will not have any value which will uniquely identify or understand which Asha. So only roll number will be able to discriminate between those two, because no two roll numbers are same for two different students. So this is how roll number becomes the minimal super key, and hence this is called as a key. So there is only one key among these four, whereas all these four can be considered a super key. So this was just a revision of what we had covered in SQL chapter. Yeah. Now, whenever we have multiple keys in a table, we call one of them is a primary key and remaining keys we call them as candidate key. So even this we had already seen. Now let us define one more term here which is important. A prime attribute. What is a prime attribute? Prime attribute is nothing but such a attribute which is either a primary key or which is a part of the candidate key. That means prime attribute is one such attribute which uniquely identifies every tuple, which is not same for any two tuples. So in our first chapter, we have that there are two examples, or in a particular table called as department. We had seen that department table contains two attributes. One is department number and department name. So as you can see in our college also, no two departments have the same name. So we can make department number also a primary key or department name also a primary key. But what we have chosen? We have chosen department name to be a primary key, whereas we have chosen department number to be a primary key, and name has remained a candidate key. So anyway, so what is a prime attribute? In this case, we can call department number also can be a prime attribute, and department name also can be a prime attribute. Why they are prime attribute? Because uh, this attribute uniquely identifies every tuple in this particular relation called as department. So as you all know that no two departments have got the same name. So department name also uniquely identifies the department tuple, and department number is also unique. So a prime attribute in a broader sense is such a attribute which uniquely identifies every tuple in a table. Is it clear to you this point? Yes, are you there? Are you there, Sanjana? I'm not able to hear any of the response, so I'm doubting whether I'm audible to you. Am I audible? Okay, maybe it is, but am I audible? Okay, fine. I'm not able to find that participants tab where I can unmute, but anyways, I'll continue. So I hope you understood what is meant by a prime attribute. So when you know a prime attribute is one such attribute which uniquely identifies every tuple in a relation. So in contradiction to that, or in opposition to that, a non-prime attribute is an attribute which is not a prime attribute. So for example, in my student table, so let us take a student table. In this, we have attributes called as roll number. Then I have name and city. So a famous example. In this case, we have only one prime attribute called as roll number, which is unique because names can be same or cities also can be same. So here we have roll number as a prime attribute, whereas name and city are the non-prime attributes. So let us go ahead with the next. So the first normal form, let us talk about the definition of first normal form. The first normal form does not allow composite attributes. It does not allow multi-valued attribute. And third one, it does not allow nested relations. Nested in the sense, if there are two tables which are combined in one table, then such relations it doesn't allow. So let us see what is mean by composite attribute. All of you know. Composite attribute is one such attribute which can be further decomposed into uh, other components. Like we know that from the first chapter, we have such example here, which is called as address. So address is a composite attribute which can be composed into, suppose it can be a street number. I'll call it a street number. Then it can be uh, cross number. Then it can be area. Then it can be city, etc. So my address is composed of all these components. Suppose now, as I was telling you, how do you prepare a table? Initially, you start with ER diagram. So in our employee ER diagram, as you all remember, we have one um, composite attribute called as name, which is formed by. So what is a name composite attribute in the employee table? We have the components called as F name. Then you have middle initial. Yeah. And third one, we have last name. So these are the three components we have in our ER diagram when we prepared initially. But as we suppose when we have ER diagram, and from that ER diagram we wanted to create table. Suppose in our employee table, in the ER diagram we have this as composite attribute. So when we try to create employee table based on that ER diagram, we may try to create like this. First, this one is SSN, and then we may take name as the attribute. So if we take SSN and name, then what will happen? Name is a composite attribute, which is a combination of all these three attributes. Then in that case, my this goes against the rule. What does the first normal form rule says? That in my table I should not have composite attribute. Then what is the solution? That we'll see later. But right now let us understand that first normal form does not allow composite attributes in a relation. Second, what it doesn't allow? Multi-valued attribute. For example, in our department table, we have one multi-valued attribute called as locations. So for one department, suppose there is department table, and in this department table, we have department number D01. Now its location, maybe there are two locations in which this is located. One may be Belgaum and another may be Mumbai. So these may be two locations. So this is called as multi-valued attribute because there are two values associated with the attribute called as locations. Then this is not allowed as per the first normal form. Then third one it does not allow is nested relation. It does not allow nested relation. Is it clear? So this is how the first normal form does not allow these three things. What it doesn't allow? It doesn't allow composite attribute, it doesn't allow multi-valued attribute, and it does not allow nested relation. Then what to do if my table has any of these? If my table has composite attribute, or if my table has got multi-valued attribute, or if my table has nested relation, then I must decompose such table. I must decompose. How should I decompose? That example we'll see